G'day guys, today I'll be showing you how to erect an Australian Hoochie. This is my way. It's by no means the best way, but I find it to be the most versatile and easiest way to erect a Hoochie very efficiently and good. So let's get straight into the video. So guys, the first thing you want to do while setting up a shelter or a Hoochie in the bush is you always want to look around at your surroundings. So you're going to look up, check for if there's any deadfall, so dead branches or anything that can fall on you during the night that could potentially kill you or harm you. So you want to make sure there's no deadfall where you're sleeping under. You also want to look around and on the ground to make sure there's no ant nests or spiders, and you generally want to have a flat area. This area here is mostly flat. I live on quite a hilly terrain, so there's not many flat places around here with trees. So this is the best I can find. But in most cases, you really just want to find flat ground. Make sure it's not wet, it's not a water path, so when it's going to rain, you're not going to get flooded out. And that's mainly it. Just check your surroundings, make sure it's a good place, no animals, it's not a game track or anything like that. And then once you've picked a good spot, then you can start erecting your Hoochie. So basically, with my equipment, I always like to have it packed up nice and neatly, nice compact, so I can fit a lot more stuff in my pack. This is the way I have my Hoochie packed up while it's in my bag. I'll be showing you how to get it to this point, how to pack it up like this at the end of the video. But to start off with, all I have to do is just undo it. So I have my Hoochie here. I'm just going to run my ridge line from this white tree here to this iron bark, and then erect my Hoochie off of that main ridge line. So the first knot we'll be using is called the Siberian Hitch. So this is for attaching your rope to the tree. So all you want to do is wrap the rope around the left side of the tree, and you want to pull it around. Now you want to have your hand sitting here like this, and you want to make sure you have a considerable amount of tail so you're able to tie the knot. So once you've got to this point, you just want to grab the tail and wrap it around your hand like this. Okay, then after this point, you want to turn your hand coming underneath both the pieces of rope, just like that. Now what you want to do is grab a pinch of this rope, and you want to put it in between these two fingers here. So your middle finger and your index finger on your left hand, you want to pinch it in between just like that. And all you have to do is you can grab onto one of these sides here or this here, and you can pull down through that loop, and it's going to self-tighten yourself. Make sure you don't pull the tail all the way through. Make sure you keep the tail out and not pulled all the way through. Tighten this knot up a bit. Now what you can do is adjust where you want the loop to sit on the tree, and all you got to do is just pull this, and it's going to tighten up. And that there is pretty solid. Now because it's a quick release, all you have to do is pull on this tail here, all right? And it's just going to pull it straight off, and you've undone the knot. So it's that simple. So you remember, just go around the left side of the tree, right? Have a nice sized tail, wrap it around your hand, turn it up, make sure that goes on that side, facing like this. Get a pinch, put it in between your middle finger and index finger, pull it through, not all the way, and then tighten it up. And that's your first Siberian hitch that you need. This next knot here is called the Tarp knot. All you want to do is grab the rope, wrap it around the right side of the tree, make sure you pull on the rope, the ridge line very tightly, come around to the back. Now with the tail, you're going to go over the ridge line, and then you're going to go around and back under, and you want to pull this back around the tree to the other side and pull it tightly so it's all nice and tight. Now you come back around this way. With the tail, you want to chuck it over the ridge line again and create a triangle right here, or a loop or a triangle, whatever. Then with this, you want to grab a pinch off the tail. Try and make sure you keep all the loops and pinches really close to the tree, because the more further you have it out, the more looser it's going to become once you let go. So grab a pinch, and you want to come under and put it up under through the triangle you just made, and make sure you push everything close to the tree. Now once you have this little loop here, you want to come under again and grab another pinch from the tail, and you want to thread this up through the loop. And now you have another loop here, and that's all tied in. So this is not going to come undone. It's really rigid, all taut. And this is another quick release knot. So all you have to do is pull down, and that's just going to undo the whole knot. So this is a great knot for tauting up your tarp or your hoochie. Alright, now I've got the hoochie spread out on the ridge line. I'm going to be using these Prusik knots to taut the actual hoochie along the ridge line. So all you got to do is push along, and it'll start tauting them out, and it won't slip back. This is used to help with the watershed, push all the water and make sure it's all taut out and doesn't have any wrinkles in the hoochie. So guys, to start off with tying the Prusik knot, what you'll need to do is get yourself a small piece of cordage about this big. I find the more fibrous the cordage is, the better it grips onto the ridge line. So first thing you want to do is you want to create a loop with this. So the knot I use to create a loop is called a reef knot. So basically all it is use your left tail over the right, goes through kind of like you're tying your shoelaces, and then you get the right one, you put it over the right, you go back through that hole and you pull it. And you'll know you have a reef knot if it kind of looks like a square. The knot looks like a square, and you're able to push it through and it moves like that. On the other hand, if you do the reef knot wrong, which it's very common, you'll have a knot that looks like this, and this is called a granny knot. Granny knots are really dangerous actually, because they slip quite easily and they can't support a lot of load. So if I pull this, see how it kind of slips along the line? You don't want that. So make sure you don't stuff up the reef knot and the granny knot. So now that you've created the loop with the smaller piece of cordage, what you want to do is place it onto the ridge line, and you just want to thread it around, back through itself, and then do that 2 times. Once you've done it twice, after that you just want to pull that up tight. Now from here, you want to make sure you set your knot, the Prusik knot, onto the ridge line properly. So as you can see here, the piece of rope actually crosses back over itself. You don't want that. That's not set properly. So you want to make sure it's all flat like so. Make sure it looks like that. All right, after you've done that, just undo the reef knot, slide it down, grab the loop on the end of the hoochie, thread it through, and then all you want to do is just do another reef knot. And now that you've got the end of the hoochie and the Prusik knot connected, all you got to do is just pull it up, make sure it's taut, and that's not going anywhere. This is going to help with water shedding and keeping a lot of the wrinkles out of the end. Okay, so now that I have taut out the hoochie using the Prusik knots, we're going to come down to the guidelines. So the guidelines are the pieces of rope that are actually going to spread out your hoochie. So I like to keep my guidelines in a hank when it's packed up. And then all I just got to do is just undo them like so and pull them out. I have my guidelines connected to my hoochie using a bowline. And the knot that I use to connect the guideline to either a tent peg or a tree or a branch or something, I use a adjustable knot. So one of the tips I always tell people is make sure that wherever you're putting the tent peg or where you're attaching the guideline to, you want to have the corner pointing to it. So you don't want it to have, you don't want the actual thing to be right in front of it, and you don't want it to be right beside it. You want to kind of have it angled. How you see actually on these corners here, you want it to have that angle, so be pulling that way. So this is how you tie the adjustable knot. As you can see, I have a tent peg already pre-hit into the ground. You can use other trees or anything like that. So what you want to do is thread it through the tent peg, pull it. Now from here, what you want to do is cross over and kind of pull it out to the side. So now you have a loop, just like that. Now from here, what you want to do is put your hand through, grab onto the tail, pull it through once, and then do it twice. And then the third time, what you want to do is you want to come under both of the whole loop and pull it underneath like that. And then all you want to do is grab a pinch and then put it through the rest of the loop there. And then you kind of just want to pull it all together like so. Make sure the knot is all set properly, just like the Prusik loop, but instead of 4 loops around, it has 3. And now all you have to do is slide it up and down, and to make it more taut is all you just have to slide it up like this, and you can adjust it to the tightness you want. So as you see here on the side as well, it's about 30 centimeters off the ground. So from this point here to the actual ground, it's about roughly 30 centimeters. Some parts are higher, some parts are lower. Depending on what your weather is and the climate and everything, this will be varied. So if it's like, say, a thunderstorm and really heavy wind and rain and all that, you might want to put this actually really close or even touching the ground to stop the water from blowing in. But if it's a really, really hot night or it's really dry and hot, you can actually raise this up much higher. So it really depends on what your weather is, but universally I usually just have it 10 centimeters off the ground. Make sure you have good airflow. It's not going to get too hot in there, but make sure you don't have it too low to the point where you're going to be touching the sides. Because when you touch the sides of a hoochie at night time, you're going to wake up and the water is actually going to be on the inside and it's going to wet all your equipment and you, and it's just going to be a really horrible experience. So make sure you adjust the sides to your height, to your need, and yeah, go from there. So guys, this is the Hoochie fully erected. As you can see, the sides are completely flat, doesn't have any wrinkles in it. So that's good for water shedding. Make sure there's no moisture left on it. As I was talking about with the corners, these are straight off the corner. If you have it more this way, see you have crinkles start to form, you don't want that. So make sure you have it diagonal or straight off that actual loop right there. Right here I've chucked under a ground sheet. You can put anything else you want on here. You can put a swag, a blow up mattress, or sleeping bag, or a bivy bag, whatever you want. It's pretty simple. To take it down, all you have to do is just undo the knots, because they're all quick release. They'll come on and do it really quickly. Then you just want to push the actual bivy, the Hoochie into the middle, and then you want to take the main ridge lines down, fold up the Hoochie, and then wrap around the main ridge line. It's pretty easy. After you've done that, you'll have a very compact piece of equipment that's going to fit into your bag and not take up much room. It's probably my most favorite way of doing it. There's heaps of other ways you can pack it up and fold it and different stuff. You can even shove it in the bag, but I just find doing it this way saves the most type of space. If you want to pick up your own Hoochie, you can head on the various different sites. I'm pretty sure it's an Australian based site, so if you're somewhere else in America or something, you could either get a poncho, which is what they call it over in America, or if you're in the UK, you can get a Basha. That's what they call them over in the UK, Bashas. But it's a fairly simplistic design. There's plenty other ways you can set up a Hoochie. I can think of a fair few. I might do a video later on about the different various ways about how to set up a Hoochie, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe. This is Bush from Greeno out.